Good evening. This is the March 6th meeting of the Open Space Committee. It's about 7:10 according to my watch, so I'm going to call the meeting to order. We have no public in the audience today. I'm assuming no one else except for our cable person is making a copy of is recording the meeting. All right, so that being said, the first item on the agenda are a couple of sets of minutes. We haven't met for a while, and actually the planner was kind enough to do these minutes for me, and he did a wonderful job, in my opinion.
Yes.
So anyways, it was very nice of you to help me out. So has everyone had an opportunity to read them? This is from July 18th and December 5th? 6th, sorry. I wrote down the wrong date, okay. So, any comments or corrections?
Make a motion to accept the July ones.
You're making a motion to accept the July, okay. Is there a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So voted. And how about the ones from December? Can you help me out again?
Sure. This would be Mark was absent, so this is Ann, John, and Louise.
Yep,
And Alex was here too.
right, but we have enough that were present then to
Correct.
vote on it now.
Yep.
I make a motion to accept the minutes from December 6, 2016.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So voted. Thank you very much.
Abstain.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mark.
Abstain, whatever you
I
call it.
apologize.
It's okay.
I knew that, but
Sorry.
I'm out of practice here.
2016 minutes are now done.
Yes, that's great. All right, so the next item on the agenda is staff updates. The Drury Square Village District report that we got from our consultant. I think I saw your presentation, but I'm sure you're going to share it with our committee too, right?
Sure.
That'd be great.
Yeah, it was a very brief presentation with the Board of Selectmen, but ultimately this is a collection of work done by a consultant through the Massachusetts Downtown Initiative grant issued by the Department of Housing and Community Development in 2016. So competitive grant, only 10 towns awarded at a total of $10,000 of technical assistance. And we were chosen for it, and we got the grant. And our consultant Harriman Group and the staff, Steve Cecil and Margarita Iglesias, worked really hard on this, held some workshops with us. Some of us here had attended in June, the June 30th workshop at the high school, collecting information on Drury Square Village to give us their recommendation on how best to proceed to take the first steps to shape this into a downtown center. And as many of you know, this isn't a new project. It's been on the master plan since 1960, 1987, 2007.
Yeah.
It's been consistent that Drury Square is an effort for revitalization of some sort for a downtown recognition. So in the past, zoning bylaws have been created, brought to town meeting 2 separate occasions, and didn't get enough votes at town meeting to be approved. So this consultant found that through all their data collection with town staff, residents, etc., learned that it's best to focus more on the civic nature of the area and bring out some of the civic enhancements first before you start focusing on the zoning. And those key amenities being pond, streetscapes, ADA compliance, walkability, ornamental lighting, making this, banners, flowers, things you can hang on the lights that are in uniform to try to give it an identity first. Wayfinding, signage, things like that too. Give it its identity before the business, and make it attractive for businesses to come and revitalize the area through zoning. So that's what this project has, some recommendations for certain areas, some walking path areas, some mixed-use development, but most of the civic upgrades as kind of the first steps of the project.
So do they seem to think that if the civic enhancements are done, that will sort of promote businesses to make changes to their facades, for example, or do some landscaping or
Yeah,
changes like that.
beautify the area,
Mhm.
make it look more attractive for businesses. Yeah, certainly, and not only just for new ones to come in, but obviously
For existing.
existing, of course. And this by no means makes anyone have to move
No, no.
or change anything. It's just for the record, of course. And
Yeah.
and there's also ideas in here for facade improvement programs for
Yeah.
existing businesses, ways that they could, like, even apply for loans through the town at discounted rates to get these things upgraded, their own facade improvements for uniformity. But a lot of good ideas came out of the project, at least from the study from Harriman Group. And yeah, focusing on that civic thing will enhance the area.
So when do you think they'll actually do it? And another thing, were they involved in, with the traffic lights? They just replaced in Drury Square?
No, well, for the second question, no, they weren't involved with the traffic lights. I believe that was a repair
That's
because of the
quite a
wind
while
we
ago.
had with. Oh no, I'm sorry.
It was a while back.
Yeah, no, this wasn't part of the study or anything, but
Mm.
I'm not sure if that initiative was part of Drury Square either. So
I
Yeah,
don't think so.
with the pedestrian lights and
I
stuff?
don't believe so either. But for your first question, when can we get started on this?
Yeah.
But we had a meeting with. Sorry, there's a project in line through the state. It's called a Transportation Improvement Project. It's funded through state and federal monies that are allocated to the regional planning agencies each year, so they can choose projects from different towns for improvements to state roads, routes, highways even, interchanges. Let's just say as an example, let's say there's $18 million out there and they choose how many projects can total that for each year. Auburn's has a project for Auburn Street from essentially Yongshing, Walsh Ave to Central Street. It covers all of Auburn Street in between.
That was what, 2021, I think?
The 2021 project.
Yeah.
And that was approved by it's called the Metropolitan Planning Organization, the MPO, earlier in 2016. However, we brought the revisions to the table with our engineer either last week or 2 weeks ago
Mhm.
to promote some of the ideas that came out of this study. So we added, we're looking at the wider sidewalks, or adding the bike lane, where to put the wider sidewalks, and where to put the identified crosswalk, the one that's so badly needed across between McDonald's and the high school,
Mhm.
with a flashing signal, so it's not a speed zone. So we're trying to kind of lower the speed in the area, because that's how you can get more feet on the ground in the area to enhance it. But other civic enhancements too, the ornamental lighting, how you're going to decorate the ADA sidewalks and stuff. Do you want to use a brick feature strip, or do you want to use a cobblestone feature strip? Things like that. And we're not talking about the entire sidewalk being brick. It's
No.
just like a strip along the side that
Right.
can identify the
Decorative.
strip. Yeah, it's a decorative thing, exactly.
Right.
So a lot
And
of
now's the
ideas like
time to
that.
do this, while you're going to be looking at construction
Exactly.
in 2021 anyway.
Right. So get those on there for now, and it's a good way to get some of these things going forward.
There's no way they could put a regular traffic light like the high school with pedestrian lights?
Like they have at James Street.
James, yeah, or yeah,
Like
yeah.
a-
Well, I was thinking more like Cambridge Street at the Sacred Heart Church. Probably the same thing.
It's like a
It stops the traffic and has the
yeah.
sound pedestrian lights.
That's right. It'll have a. You'll be able to stop. No,
Right,
it wouldn't be a
McDonald's
red,
area.
yellow, green. It wouldn't be anything like that. It'd just be a caution lights would flash upon
No, I was-
activation.
No, I was
Slow
thinking.
it down.
No. This is
Oh.
a regular traffic light system.
Yeah, I don't know if this would be quantified by the state, only because it's not like the high school's parking lot's across the street. It's a popular restaurant
Yeah.
that kids go to after school, but
Hmm.
not necessarily something they can quantify to say.
And,
you
That it would
can count-
justify a light, a regular
Right.
cycle light.
Right.
and the sidewalks, I wouldn't want to see you put red brick or any of that stuff. I'd leave it all asphalt.
Yeah,
Take away that stuff. It's a nightmare.
I believe it's going to be concrete.
I think regular asphalt, asphalt.
Because, I mean, they have to make the whole ADA because it isn't now, for
Right.
one. But concrete's the option they're going for. And they're not
Yeah.
looking at like a complete brick thing because it rumbles. Not
Right.
anyone riding over it or anything like that. But it's just like a feature accent strip along the top of the curb. That's about it.
What?
So,
Yeah. When actually make sure when they put the expansions, don't go too deep.
what do you mean by expansion?
They put the curb. They put like a like a crack in the middle so it expands.
Mhm.
Don't go too deep, just go a little bit.
Okay.
Someone using a white cane, it stops you.
I see what you're saying.
Yep.
Hmm.
Well, there must be, if you're doing something that's going to be ADA compliant, then they must have addressed all of those, when they address all those kinds of things in the regulations,
Yeah.
if they had to be compliant with the ADA.
Oh, absolutely.
So they
I
would,
hope
I would
so.
think that they would
I don't know
know.
if I don't know if that's in there or not.
It is.
I don't know, I would think that they would have to in order to get it
Because-
approved.
The big problem is you have the state ADA, you have the state contract, the state like ADA, and you have the map. It's like two.
Oh, so the state and the federal aren't the same?
Well, it's a state, but it's also it's the American Disability Act, but then it's also the state law. There's two parts there for some reason. Yeah.
Well, it's
State-
also the point that this is not till 2021, so
Right.
any,
You got ways to
They
go.
got a
Yeah.
long time.
any new updates to
Yeah.
regulations, I'm sure would be applied then too.
Yes. There could be lots of changes.
I'm just happy to see there'll be the bike lanes too. So
Yeah, how-
How's that gonna work?
But the sidewalks, I've heard 5-foot wide sidewalks on both sides?
Depending on where
How's
this
there
would
enough
be,
room for that?
some of the wider sidewalk will be at different points based on where pedestrians tend to be. But like, just as an example, right at Auburn Street where the Town Pizza Building is, and
Yeah.
let's say the Rob Roy, which used to be Holstrom
Yes, across the
Market,
street.
right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, that's right on the road,
Right.
pretty much. So you're going to lose a travel lane there. Eventually, there's going to be just a, if you're coming from the opposite direction, heading towards the high school on Auburn Street with
So you'll have
Verizon on
one
your
lane
right. There'll just be one lane going forward now. As it
to make
used
room
be.
for the sidewalks and the
Correct.
bike.
Right.
Isn't it gonna back up the truck? How do you have gridlock?
The signals have to be identified for different timing and all that stuff. I mean,
I know it's a long ways down the roadways,
Exactly.
but still.
yeah,
It's still exciting to see something moving forward though,
absolutely,
you know?
absolutely.
I think just for myself, just the idea of having, some decorative features on the sidewalks, and nice clean sidewalks and all even uniform,
Right.
and ornamental lighting, and planters. I just think it'll be, to me, that's like a huge step
Mhm.
towards making it look more
Mhm.
pedestrian friendly, more people friendly,
Yeah.
you know?
Wayfinding too. The signage to know what amenities are in which direction.
Mhm.
There's also an island right in the middle of Drury Square. with,
Yeah, flowers and stuff, wasn't there?
with some overgrown bushes and some transformers for the lighting signals, things like that.
Yeah.
One of the ideas I threw out there was a decorative identifiable sign for Drury Square, because without something telling you which Drury Square is.
How would you know? I mean,
Right.
we know, but
Yeah.
visitors don't know,
Right. Exactly.
you know?
You can put a little rock out, maybe.
There's already a big one right behind it.
Yeah.
It's true.
That's neat though. Does anybody have any questions or input, comment?
I'll wait until 2020.
I certainly encourage you folks to read the
No,
study
I
and
wanna
prepare any questions, send them over, I'd be
take
happy
the
to.
chance to read it.
Yeah.
Now, how far toward Worcester is considered Drury Square? Like, is this going to take in the medical buildings and the plumbing supply place, Edge Bays, and is that all part of that
Yeah,
also?
isn't it, I think it takes you to about the bridge, the railroad
Okay.
bridge.
I think so.
Bridge?
Does it not go that far?
Oh,
Um,
sorry, I didn't really look and see what they had to say here.
There's one of the maps has a,
Because I'm thinking that Route 12
Mhm.
needs to be repaved from Drury Square
oh,
out that way. It really is in bad shape now.
yeah. Mhm.
And I know that's state, but
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
didn't go to the Worcester line.
yeah, I mean, this
and
just be
that
Auburn Street.
sidewalk, it's unbelievable, and,
Yeah.
and the overgrowth of the weeds, that you can't walk on that sidewalk in the summertime.
No, you're right. So, there's this project, which is Auburn Street.
Yeah.
There's potential for a MassWorks grant next year, which we didn't get this past year. But next year, to do improvements to Brotherton Way to give a walkable feature, whether it's a sidewalk with ornamental lighting again on the pond side of Brotherton Way,
Mhm.
kind of clean up all the growth and trash, garbage that's over there
Mhm.
too. So you'll get two sides. Oh, there's three sides of Auburn Ponds. You get two sides of them done, and then possibly file for a transportation improvement project for 12 in the future to wrap up that triangle. If you can get the decorative ornamental lighting around the pond, you have an identifiable feature in your center.
Mm. You need to clean up the pond though too.
Oh, yeah.
It's not pretty. But swan boats are pretty ambitious. Maybe
Yeah.
someday, I don't know.
Maybe you can go swimming there.
Well, I don't know about that, but
I think it's helpful just to identify that extra lot as a municipal lot. That came up too.
Definitely in that,
yep.
in that section. That's the jury.
And do the geese still hang out back there
Oh,
by the
sure,
rocket?
Sure.
Didn't
Yeah.
think to look at that.
I wonder what we can do to deter them. I don't think anyone feeds them anymore.
Do what they do at airports.
What do they do at airports?
Like to get birds away from planes, they have like some sort of sound that they use
Oh,
that only they can hear, and it just keeps them away from the planes. Just not sure what you do. That might be a little
well, it's definitely a
loud.
problem, you know, the bird, the geese, they're just a little, they're intimidating. Besides the fact that they're messy.
Sure, we have some residents who'd be happy to handle them, but we can't authorize that.
Oh, I get what you mean. No, I don't want to do that.
I don't either, believe it. I'm not promoting it. It's just, I've heard it. Come on.
No. I wasn't,
Spread the grape Kool-Aid and it'll go away.
yeah, well, I think somebody else was thinking something
I know.
a little louder than that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this is great. So I want to take the opportunity to really read it and, see what I can
Sure.
garner from it. But that's great. So, anyways, let's see here. Okay, the housing subcommittee announcement. I did hear about this I was watching the selectmen's meeting last week, but why don't you tell us about it?
Okay, so this was going to be an announcement of vacancies. As of this morning, they have a 3-person subcommittee that they're going to run with. So,
Oh, really?
So it's full.
yeah, I was going to ask if anyone was interested.
I was
so-
going to
Me too,
apply
but-
for that.
Yeah, I mean, I think if there were more that apply and you end up with another odd number, they'd be fine with it. It's just,
Wow, that
they
came
put,
up quick.
they got 3 folks on it, and it's going to be a subcommittee of the master plan committee. Not sure where or when they're going to meet yet.
That only came
considering
up
how
in,
much-
that was like a week.
Yeah, I was surprised as
Do you
well.
know, can you share who?
I only know one. It's one of our staff here. It's Shannon Regan in the selectman office. So she'll
Oh.
be kind of the administrative but member,
Yeah.
and the 2 other members, I'm not sure who they are. But so they're
Mhm.
just looking for 3. They'll work with the consultant CMRPC on the housing plan as part of the master plan. So.
Okay.
But if anyone else is, there's obviously still apply, and if we end up with an
Wouldn't that be
additional
odd?
odd number.
Yeah, because I was looking at the town website and it said 5.
Yeah, I think because the consultant's ready to go, we got the 3. We said, all right, let's start. If we get more, we get more. So.
You know what's involved? What's the charge or anything?
Yeah, there's a grant, community compact grant, $25,000 of technical assistance that was awarded to the Central Mass Regional Planning Commission, CMRPC,
Yeah, I know, 'cause
to do their,
I know them quite well.
yeah, they're gonna be doing the comprehensive housing, a housing plan for us. A lot of towns have housing plans, they know what their inventory is, and Auburn doesn't have one. We don't have a plan going forward to balance our affordable component versus our regular housing stock. So analysis,
Okay.
get all the numbers out there so we know what we have and what we can do with it.
Yeah, I've been watching the selectmen's meeting last Monday. It sounds like it's going to be pretty intense for the next 6 or 7 months, and then it'll be done.
Yes.
It's just for a finite period of time.
Okay.
It's not something that's going to be going on for years and years and
Correct.
years. So I think that they were expected to be done by the fall.
Hmm.
So, okay, so that's. Now, what was your additional content? You had a third thing on your agenda. Additional content. What does that mean?
I don't have any today, but
Okay.
it's something I've been adding to agendas in case
Oh,
anything else comes to the
kind of like
surface.
miscellaneous.
Right, it's parking lot of items.
Okay.
In case something comes up before the meeting.
Okay. Kind of like a catch-all.
Mhm.
Okay. I wasn't sure what you meant. Okay, discussion items, conflict of interest certificates. If anybody hasn't got them done, they need to
Is
be
that
done into the town clerk.
question? Is that for each committee you're on?
You
Or
only
does
have to
that-
do it once.
Okay,
If
so
you've
you've
done it
done,
for something else, then you're good.
okay, good.
And it's
Okay,
every 2 years.
Yeah,
all right.
this is the year. that
Now,
I'm-
it'd be nice if you just be grandfathered somehow. You have to keep
I
doing
know,
it.
huh?
Staff too.
It's just really, I mean, it's just such common to me, it's basic common sense, but,
So, sorry,
Yep.
through that, there's two parts to that. I just don't know if we did this last meeting, I apologize. I've been doing this with every committee, so, there's the online certificate, which you have to print out and give to the town clerk. Has
Right.
anyone not done that yet? Has anyone done that yet? I'm sorry.
Yes,
Yes.
thank you.
I
Okay,
did
so
it, yeah.
you guys both did, okay. So it's an online thing, I'll send the link again, just in case. But there's also the receipt of the
yeah.
hard copy here, and there's a signature page on the last page, and it's just acknowledging that you've received this from me.
Oh,
So,
well, that's something else, because
yeah,
you had to send an acknowledgement to
Yeah.
the town clerk that you had read the, I forgot what it was called.
Isn't it the same, doesn't that cover it?
it does.
I sent her
It's
an
just-
email and told her I had, you know,
Yeah, this acknowledgement of the written
well, if you want
conflict
to
of
send...
interest law that's been revised November 14, 2016. So that's all this is. This isn't
Okay.
something that's done every 2 years, it's only as it's amended, so.
So you want us to sign the last page?
Yes, and you can, I can't
And tear it off and give it to you?
Yeah.
Until it gets there.
Thank you.
Let me just tear off the last one.
All right, so we'll make sure we give it to you before we go. All right, and that's all about the conflict of interest, right? I think
Yes,
that's it.
yeah, you just put you sign your name, you put the committee you're on, and then the date.
You take the last page off?
Yeah, you just tear it
Yeah.
off and I'll take it.
And if you run more than one, like Louise, you did yours, that covered conservation too,
Mm-hmm.
you know? You don't have to do 15 of them.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, I'll help you out. Mark.
Well, just stamp it, yeah.
Yeah, good. Thank you.
Okay. The flat part towards you.
Flat part towards me.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Oh, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
There's just something in the middle of that table that's...
I think it's
you
like a
got,
Bermuda Triangle.
yeah. Don't you got a chip there out of the table?
Oh, that happens.
How
I love how it's all right near where I sit too.
Yeah.
They're all over the place.
I'm gonna blame it on everyone but me.
That's right.
I don't ever remember the table chipping like that before. Is that just the paint that lifted off of the original?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
It seems something
We don't
probably
like
fell
this.
on it or.
Mm-hmm.
Hard to get paint to stick to Formica.
Mm.
Yeah, that's yeah. Because this has been painted, yeah.
Is there a special paint for that, or maybe something you can prepare the surface with? I don't know. Louise is talking to herself.
You need a little, conveyor belt there.
Conveyor belt.
Lazy Susan.
Yeah. Yes.
That's a good idea. Actually.
Yeah. Yes.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Yep. Thank you for providing the documents. Okay, so town-owned properties, our South Hill Road recommendations continued. We've talked about this in the past. It's something we've kind of put off for a while. If you remember, we had asked the selectmen when we made our recommendations about how they should fund it and so forth, or how they should bond it or use it. We asked if we could, at some point down the road, make suggestions on passive recreational uses. So this is something we've kind of been carrying on the agenda for a while. Excuse me, I didn't know if you guys wanted to address that now, or...
Yeah,
if
a little
you-
bit.
Yeah, go ahead, Mark.
It'd be nice if, I was wondering how the walking trails are coming. And another thing, it'd be nice if we could put like, it might be end up being like a party spot, but put picnic tables, make a little place that, like a park or something. Someplace, someplace you want to eat or something, like a covered, I don't know what they call it, but you have picnic tables underneath and have it covered.
Like a pavilion?
Yeah, there you go, yes, yeah. Like the state parks have. Doubleton, Mass is a nice, River State Park.
Carry the picnic lunch in there and
Yeah,
Yeah, some of those pavilions even have like a barbecue pit, so you can
yep.
light up a
cook
fire
hot
and cook
dogs
your
and
burgers. But we've talked about different things in the past relative to types of uses there, so I don't know if you're at a point where you want to send something to the selectmen, or if you still want to mull it over, or are you pulling up,
Yes.
if you want to talk about your trails, I don't know.
Sure. We did get an engineer design trail over the wetland areas. We got a plan from the town engineer, I think maybe mid to late January.
Okay,
We're going to be getting ready to file a notice of intent with the commission.
really?
Yes.
Mhm.
This only covers the areas that were surveyed because they were the obvious wetland areas. One of them does include the construction of a footbridge. It's probably about 20 feet long because there's this considerable, call it a ravine, that's back there. It's nothing that's like containing very deep water, but it created itself over time because of water. So it's very obvious it's a wetland area. So and the DPW did a really good job with the design. It's hard to tell if I were to pull it up here. It's a lot of contours in black and white, and it's spread out over several sheets because it's such a large area.
Mm.
So we're trying to get away from calling a lot of this particular section of the trail a walking trail, because there's no way it can be a walking trail. It is gonna have to be a hiking trail. I mean, we'd have to put, it's the terrain on this section.
It's really
It's
intense.
impossible.
Mhm.
Yeah, unless we were gonna do a long spiral over time.
Quite circuitous.
Yeah, there's no way. So I think this leg of getting the trails through the commission is important for the hiking portion of this, and the upper levels closer to the soccer field and the cornfield that they launch the fireworks from will have to have the future consideration for ADA compliance and kind of the walking trail aspect of it. It's just this lower level is, the primary goal is to connect the South Hole property. And if we can't do that, then the project kind of loses its luster. So this will be the hiking portion of that. And it's a considerable terrain change. So notice of intent pending, hopefully this month, maybe with the April hearing. But that's as far as we're at right now. But we did get a design. I'm happy to have that.
Who will be doing the physical work?
DPW,
Who's going to do your notice of intent?
Mr. Coyle.
So we're at the public hearing, be the considered hearing?
He'll be here.
He'll be here with the commission, depending on when we get the notice of intent. And I started on it, and it's a little too much for me.
Yeah.
The notice of
You
intent.
need wetlands
So-
background.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And well, then again, this is more of a hiking trail, so it's not something where you're proposing like a building inside the area where then you need replication, or it's not like you're taking away wetland area to propose new. This is to create
Yeah,
features
but you're
within.
putting a bridge over a wetland.
Yeah, I
It's
just
going to change the temperature of the wetland.
yeah,
It's going to
it's
change what's
yeah.
going to live there.
Right, and these are things I didn't know how to answer, so I
Mhm.
kind of deferred to the town engineer on this, and he might have to have a consultant. I'm not sure where it goes from there. So
Hmm.
that's where we're at now.
Okay. I'll have to watch for that one.
Oh, sure.
Okay. Any other questions on the walking trails, Mark? Or anybody? Or hiking trails, I should say.
Yeah, so that wouldn't be, so
How
that
long
might
is
not
that going to
be,
be? Like, it's not going to connect to anything really right now. right?
It will connect to
Eventually.
the soccer field, but it's going to be one kind of direct trail to the South Hole property, but because
But
the
it's
terrain's so different, it's
Yeah,
gonna
it's
be a
connecting
hiking
the
feature.
properties, but it's
Right.
not something that's easily accessible
Right.
to most people.
That's right. I
so
think
that whole
it's
section won't be on the American Disability Act then, huh?
not this
Not that
particular
part.
path. Yeah, that's right.
But the other part would be, right?
Hopefully, and that'd
Should
be
be.
that'd be a
That's good.
phase 2. That'd be a phase 3, maybe, depending on what happens with
It's
this
going to
one.
be a long time coming.
We could find out that phase 1. It depends on how everything goes.
It's kind of too bad that half the package is not ADA appliance, the whole thing.
It's just tough terrain.
Yeah, it is truck, yeah, yeah,
I think you lose 80 feet over a pretty short period.
Yeah. hmm
yeah.
And then when you go past on the other side, if you're going down towards Route 20, That's very steep too,
Of course.
you know, and there's a huge wetland system over there, even worse.
Oh, yeah. It's considerable. You can tell just by looking at the contours and the wetland delineation of the survey that you're wondering how we're going to get there. So it has to be designed properly. It has to be done right. And if it can't work, it can't work. But we're certainly going to try. Connecting those two parcels would be vital for the entire system.
What about the parking up there? Were you kind of determined that with the South Hall Road site? Maybe-
For parking on South Hill Road, or
Yeah, in that area, would you park, you probably park it, up at the church campus, and walk down?
it depends. I mean, it's hard to say. I mean,
Yeah.
depending on what leg you want to use of this trail, and there's no parking at South Hill now. There's a dirt road that spirals into where the proposed cul-de-sac was, and people could use that, assuming they have four-wheel drive. But it's not like you can really park along the street, and we saw it on our
You
site
saw that?
visit. Someone put the new curb up, so you
Yeah.
can't just drive right
It's-
onto the landing anymore. So
Oh,
It's
there's a
all-
curb
it's all
there?
asphalt out
On the
there.
dirt road?
It's no more dirt road, it's all high top, all
They
the
paved it all the way through?
down to, what's the line?
not the entire thing. There's bindings on a lot of it, Mark, but there is
Okay.
someone who bought and is building houses, a couple of houses on the north side of the property that isn't ours, was required to he wanted to tie in the sewer,
Yeah?
and the town, they had him do the road improvements.
Wow.
So we'll, you put a final coat on?
And I still have one more house to go.
Okay.
I still want,
Wow.
that's the trail anyways. But we were segueing into 2017 and the recommendation for South Hill Road.
Yeah.
And just want to disclose anyways, the subdivision for South Hill Road, that was approved by the planning board for Mr.
Yeah.
Post before the town bought the property,
Yeah,
is still technically active.
it is. Okay,
Its expiration date is December 31st of this year.
okay.
So it's still an approved subdivision.
Now, could they get an extension in?
They could. The town
Oh.
could. Now, if the town wanted to request an extension, the planning board can grant as many as it seems fit, but nothing has been done with the project. Usually it's it was a 3-year term, maybe even a 5-year, to do the road improvements. So we're doing all those in a year. So the extension has to come 90 days before the expiration. It's something that I just want to leave out there because it's not off the table. I'm not promoting it, just want folks to know it's out there.
But you know, to me, maybe it's a good idea to keep it active because it's such a process to go through to get a subdivision. You know, if it's
Yeah.
already approved, who knows? Who knows where this will end up going? I mean, maybe
Gives you an
nowhere.
option. That's right. It's just
Keep your, yeah.
Now, where would these houses be that you're talking about?
it's the you can see on the screen you have there's about 13 lots, I think.
But that's all town land now.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So why do we, I mean, for the next 9 years, this is for municipal use only, correct?
Right.
So what difference does it make if there's a plan out there?
If you got an extension for a subdivision plan for the next 9 years, you still have an active subdivision when you're done with the bond. And it's something the town could consider at that time if they're no longer looking to keep this as passive frac. I'm not promoting it, don't get me wrong.
We're just saying
Folks
we should
here,
keep
folks
our
at home,
options
it's
open.
just, it's something
Right.
that's approved on the land that will expire this year. And if we want to let it expire, we let it expire. It's just, it's there.
Well,
So
that
I
was
just want us to
approved
know
for-
about it.
That was approved for Mr. Post. Does that follow the new
It
owners?
does, yeah, because it's with the land, it's recorded that way, the parcel
But
layout.
if the town voted to keep that as open space, how can they develop it into a housing development?
And how did the vote make it as open space? I think they did it as part of a bond recommendation.
Right, so the
So,
vote, they could change it.
Yeah,
They could change it.
If you voted to make it open, you can vote it to,
yeah, and that's part of the reason the selectmen didn't take the $1 million donation.
right, because that would have
Tied your,
Yeah, that would have tied them into their passive rack, or the nothing rack.
nothing.
Yeah, the passive, leave it
No
alone.
parking
Yeah.
area, no
Right.
nothing.
restroom facilities, nothing.
So that leaves this kind of option still out there. I can't say it enough, I'm not promoting it, it's just, it does
No,
expire
I'm not
this year.
promoting it either, but, you know, if somebody changes their mind down the road, it would make it more marketable if we're gonna go, if we were ever to go that route.
Mhm.
I'm not saying we would,
Right.
but,
I think it's still to go back to conservation no matter what, any order condition would expire by then if they don't get an extension for that,
yeah.
but the subdivision is still technically active.
Mm.
But I wanted this committee to know, because we're
Yeah.
trying to preserve the open space aspect of it, and maybe that's something we want to take off the table, I don't know, so I just
I
wanted to
know.
put it out
Maybe a
there.
good idea. Oh,
Have you had that discussion with the administration?
I've mentioned it, when I saw the expiration on it, I circulated the information, it's something to keep in mind.
Mm.
The selectmen may examine it at some point, but it's...
But you said they'd have to apply for the extension 90 days beforehand,
Mhm.
so before the end of September.
Yep.
Okay. Interesting. So that leads us back to recommendations on passive rec uses.
Mhm.
Did we want to discuss that? Or are we still, do you want to wait till Alex is here? We have a full board?
maybe we should, just,
My thought is that we still lack some of the key elements to make this used for anything. And that is access.
Mm.
Until that is rectified, or at least we have a plan that we can work towards, it really doesn't matter what we want to do with it. Right now, it's open space and, that has a potential use, but it has a potential use at a significant,
Cost.
either cost or miracle that gives us a road in there,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know it's a landlocked piece for the most part, unless something happened off of South Old Road, and that's always possible. But without, I think about the people that live there, I'd hate to see any more impact on that, especially Curtis Street. It just cannot handle any more traffic that goes on it. So I just don't see how that's possible. But that's my thought. I mean, I think our advice to the select board to bond this municipally was a smart suggestion, and it puts in motion our intent to keep, not that we're not going to use it for something, but the intent, in my opinion, is that it would be used maybe for passive recreation of some sort, if we need it. But just like the Pappas complex, it would incur significant investment to make it accessible and usable.
do you know if the land on Route 20 is still for sale?
Which one?
The gift chalet, that's still,
I believe it's been purchased,
okay.
or at least in the process of.
Because that's the only way you can get the cell phone, would you go?
Thought of that too when it was for sale. But, yeah, that'd be the town's way to get access, or at least one of, I think they'd need another piece.
No, you know, yeah, it's still,
Yeah, there's actually a house that splits the two.
so you need that to get,
That's right.
Hmm.
There's a sewer easement there.
I wonder if that's the house to the gift chalet, because there's a house behind there. I wonder if it's the same, I wonder if that's the whole same parcel, maybe, it might be, I don't know.
Yeah, there was another house or building that went,
With the
it had a
gift,
few apartments in it.
with the gift chalet.
Mm.
Seem to be in separate ownership.
Really?
Well,
Hmm.
one's Bradburg Terrace.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Interesting. So is that the general consensus then, that we need to figure out access before we figure out uses? Specific uses?
Perhaps a location of a potential parking lot? Parking area, and I don't want to say parking lot, assuming it's asphalt. Maybe we're just talking about
Just
it,
gravel.
maybe not even that, maybe it's just a dirt patch, it's just a dirt area.
Well, I thought we had a bylaw that we don't allow parking on unpaved surfaces.
I believe it's aquifer related, but I'd have to make sure. I mean, if you think
It's
about
only
it,
if it's in the aquifer?
I don't want to do interpretations for Caleb, so
Okay.
I just, my
I
understanding.
thought that was townwide, honestly.
Yeah, I just try to see it from from a view of the state, I mean, how many other towns have areas like this? And you know, why is it like prohibited in this town compared to everyone else that seems to have dirt roads, calls them streets, and we have none? It's just things you see in other towns for some reason you don't see here, but it's the same feature. I don't want to get into dog parks, but the dog park in Millbury does not have a paved parking lot. It's a dirt area. It's just there's other municipal properties in other towns that don't necessarily have paved areas.
I think you'd be hard pressed to find many recreational areas that have paved parking. You know, whether it's an Audubon site or a soccer field in Charlton, or, you know, most of these places are gravel at best.
Yeah.
And, you know, I don't think we should be different than that.
Yeah.
I mean, the Pappas complex looks great, but the expense for asphalt up there was very high because there's a lot of parking and there's a lot of road surface. I don't disagree with it for the road aspect, but for parking areas, it just makes no sense to have cars somewhere for a couple hours a week. That's a huge investment.
I understand your point, but I can't say that I share your opinion because of things that leak out of vehicles and pollute water sources. That's my concern.
You gotta maintain the
Yeah.
asphalt too.
No, I know it's expensive to maintain, but, you know, when you get grounds that are saturated with antifreeze and car drippings and God knows what else, oil, and, you know, that's not good either. That's part of the problem with Auburn Pond, what's left of it. For years and years, the Auburn Mall parking lot just had straight shots off the parking lot down those little paved conduits that went down the embankment straight into the pond. You know?
Well, then that's kind of.
I know it's a bigger parking lot than what you're talking about, but still.
In a sense, I mean, it almost supports the means for unpaved, is because when something leaks out of a car, it's going to go down. It's not going to spread out to a different area over the parking lot
Yeah.
into a storm system that eventually goes right into the water supply.
But meanwhile, it's saturating
yeah.
the ground and,
Yeah.
you know, contaminating the soils. So,
Mhm.
I don't know, 6 of one, a half dozen of the other, I guess. But.
It's could be either.
Yeah, well, we have all electric cars out there too, so.
No, that'd be interesting.
Bumper cars.
Bumper cars?
Yeah.
I can go for that. All right, so I'm not sure where we're at. We have 9 years to worry about it, I guess.
But they go by, so.
I mean, sorry, Ann.
Go ahead, Nick.
Sorry. In addition to the Southwell Road recommendations, just these tables alone, we had these in draft form, and I've noticed that the new dog park committee kind of used these as a guide to identify town parcels in town and help them try to, you know, decide what's an appropriate area in town for a dog park. I think essentially they almost narrowed their recommendation there, what's going to become one, into the same parcels that we did too. But one way or the other, to follow up on this is still a draft table.
Yep.
And I don't know if we finalized any of these recommendations, not necessarily recommendations, but classifications
Yep.
for these parcels and future consideration. If we want to keep this in draft form, it's just an internal document, or do we want this to be the committee's formal recommendation for these parcels? I just think we got to a point where we put them into categories, but we didn't.
We didn't finalize them.
Right.
So would that mean they couldn't touch them?
No.
What does it mean then?
It means it's our opinion that these are how these should be classified.
Yeah, it's still a draft document. I just hate for anyone else to misconstrue its use and think that this is finite if the committee has.
Well, we're only an advisory committee anyway, so we
The selectmen
can
have
only make
to.
recommendations,
Sure.
you know. But
And this could stay drafted. I'm fine with that. That's where we left off. We can keep this for internal use. That's the committee's choice.
you know, to tell you the truth, I had forgotten about examining this to make sure what we had settled on. So did you guys already look at this?
Not line by line.
Well, do you want to have this as an agenda item for the next meeting, and in the meantime, we will review this ourselves and come back and be prepared to discuss it at the next meeting?
Sure.
Is that something?
Sure, it helps. I mean, our minutes of the past few years, you go over each of these one at a time.
Yeah, and
There's
you've got,
notes
well,
on
you've
each
got
one
them
of
color
the
coded, so that's each
Yep.
particular type.
Yep.
I mean, I'm pretty comfortable with what we talked about, but I just want to make sure.
The only ones we really didn't cover, Madam Chairman, were the non-conforming parcels, the ones that are less than 10,000
Yeah,
square
the
feet.
tiny, yeah.
We didn't go over those.
Were we gonna ask people if they wanted them first, like the real small ones,
Yeah,
like neighbor, the butter?
right.
But realistically, when you think about it, it's like, they're not large enough to be used for anything. So I wouldn't think that people would spend their money buying them.
And pay taxes on something
Right.
they don't need.
Right.
It depends on the person, because it could be
Yeah.
something that's just left a mess in front of their yard and they
Yeah.
wanted to clean it up.
Yeah.
It just depends on who it is.
Or somebody that's got an odd shaped lot and that little triangle would make a square and,
Yeah.
you know, I don't know.
Hmm.
So we'll put this on, this will be a topic for discussion for the next meeting.
Yeah, we could table it.
Okay. Okay, I can do that. That's my agenda here. Where's that? Okay, let's see here. Neighborhood map review. We haven't made a lot of progress on this either. This was the one we were going to start with Packagug Hill, correct?
Hmm? I'm sorry, I didn't bring the copies again. I think really everyone should have one. But yeah, we wanted to narrow it down to one area and look at the ones in that area.
Yeah.
Right. Data table, the data tables, that's this item here.
Yes.
All right, so we're gonna have data tables on for the next meeting, then we can have neighborhood map review, do the package hog, start that, and have those as 2 agenda items for the next meeting.
Okay.
Is that all right?
Fine.
Okay, we don't have any public comment, we don't have anything here. At next meeting, when, I know it's been difficult the last couple months to get us all together.
Oh, we had
The
one.
weather didn't help, and, you know, schedules have been tough, and people have been, you know, committed to other things. So, do you want to try to stick to the first Monday of the month?
We can do, yeah, that sounds
Does that
good.
work for
That's fine, yeah.
Eh,
Elise, does that work for you?
Usually does, yeah.
Okay.
What about the third, if they like, want to just do the third maybe, or
The third one?
if we have, let's say if we have like going, like, do you think it's necessary to meet twice, or do you think that once a month is okay
I
right
don't-
now?
I think once a month is all right.
Okay, I just wondering if you're okay to a big project
Are
or
you
something.
amenable to that? I mean...
Yeah, I don't think we've got that many pressing items. I mean,
No.
there's stuff that we can pick away at,
All right.
Okay,
I
but
think once a month is sufficient.
sure,
Yeah.
yeah.
At least for now. I mean, we can always step it up.
Yeah, if we had, we
Yeah.
did, we give, okay, just,
But this night seems to be, you know, it seems like the town hall is pretty accessible because it's not the selectmen's meeting
Mhm.
night, you know? Because getting meeting space has been really hard. You know, if it's not the weather, there's no place to meet, you know.
Right.
It's people's schedules, it's just been, the last couple of months have been very difficult. So what is the first first Monday in March? April,
It is the 3rd.
April 3rd. Okay. So does everyone want to stick to the 6 o'clock schedule?
it's fine by me.
fine with me, yes, yeah, that's,
So April 3rd at 6 p.m.? Can we do the next one then? Okay. All right, we didn't have any correspondence.
Can I ask one question here before we get, you gave us a document here, tax title. These
Oh,
aren't,
thank you. for
these
reminding
aren't
me.
new, obviously, but what's the
Oh, yeah.
review?
Sure, thank you for reminding me. These, the treasure collector gave these, circulated this because these are the top 10 properties that are tax delinquent in dollars. And some of them are large, swaths of open space.
Oh,
Mostly wetland area, but the first one on the list, including the fourth one on the list, are all a very large wetland area. And I'll,
Somebody buy it by mistake?
could inherit it over time. It's hard to tell, but I'll show you where it is. It is 40 Washington. It is this right here. So this is, okay, so Motorsports International from Mike Wade's
Yeah,
property.
yeah,
Across the
okay.
street is St. Mark's Street.
mhm.
And as you travel south towards Oxford, on the right-hand side, you cross over the railroad bridge, and on the right-hand side is a large marsh, and then you get towards School Street. Right in front of that is a little motor vehicle repair shop.
Yeah.
Yep,
Right.
okay, yes,
This is
yep.
all the land between motor vehicle repair shop
Wow.
and Motorsports International, the railroad for it. Sorry,
There's no structures on that?
nothing.
Wow.
But it's a swamp. The whole thing. And there's two parcels, and they're both under separate ownership, Sturbridge Realty Trust, and one's listed as Mill Street because this paper street is the old Mill Street.
Mhm.
Mill, yeah. And you can tell if you follow the line, it kind of goes right towards Mill Terrace here, right to Wade's property into the bottom.
So you think that's gonna go to auction then, or?
It's something that could happen. I don't want to try to get into this private property, but I
Yeah.
just wanted to bring it to our attention because it's an interesting scenario of an open space preservation opportunity. That's really, I
Mm.
don't know what else you can do with it,
Right.
but it's really all I
So was
thinking.
this generated for a particular purpose?
I believe the treasure collector was bringing these properties to the attention of the town manager. Just
Oh, okay.
perhaps try to speed things up on tax title takings or not. Some of them are individual, single-family homes, some of them aren't. But that one just caught my attention. I wanted to bring it to the committee's attention. It's a lot of property. It's a
Do
lot of,
things typically stay in tax title for a certain period of time before the town moves on them?
I don't know enough about it yet,
Yeah.
how long it happens, but
Yeah.
I mean,
Is that-
one of them's got upwards of 138,000 owed in taxes on it. It's a lot.
Is that the only one, the only ones out there?
This is the top 10, and there's
Oh,
plenty more.
Yeah,
Wow.
There's plenty more. These top 10 range from 138,000 to about 32,000 owed in taxes. So
I wonder what happens, like, say the town took a parcel through tax title and wanted to keep it for open space, right? What happens to the back taxes?
Yes.
They're just forgiven?
no, it just
You can't.
we're not getting that money.
No, I don't know. I'm just trying. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because like if someone buys tax title property, a private person buys the tax title, they have to pay back the
They do.
taxes to the town,
That's correct.
right?
Yeah.
So if we took it for ourselves,
We don't get any of that money back.
I mean, most people that don't pay taxes or didn't pay taxes at one point aren't going to be suddenly wealthy enough to pay taxes now.
Right.
So, I mean, that's sort of a reality. I mean, some of these are interesting properties. I think it would be a nice way to maybe get some open space,
Hmm.
but I think the town needs to understand if there's any recovery there.
So I just wanted to bring it up.
That's interesting.
Food for thought.
Hmm?
Okay. Anything else?
Not at this time.
Anybody? No? Then is there a motion?
to adjourn?
Hmm.
Make that motion, I guess.
Is there a second?
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So voted. Thank you very much.